Hello, writer! Welcome to Creative Kingdom, a creative writing project for middle schoolers. And through this project, we will write a fantasy adventure story. So let's get started. The first step to becoming a good writer is being a reader. I'm going to reference some of my favorite fantasy adventure books, including My Father's Dragon, The Whipping Boy, the Book of Three, which is first in a 5-book series on the Chronicles of Prydain. There's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is also the first of the Chronicles of Narnia. And then The Hobbit, written by Tolkien, of course, who wrote the epic Lord of the Rings fantasy adventure story. These three are what we'll focus on in this course, and I'll be quoting from them and looking at what the author did. That'll help us in our journey to becoming a fantasy adventure author as well. Here's our book island, and each part corresponds with a different unit in the story, and I've added you there to begin our adventure together. We're starting at Character Lake. So some housekeeping things to take care of before we get started. Now you might think writing a story these days is all on a computer instead of pen and paper, but actually I encourage you to use a pen and the paper. Handwriting actually increases your creativity. Now there's so many different ways you can do it. You can use forms at the back of the book, or you can find online, you can use loose leaf paper or your own notebook, whatever works for you for writing. Just know ahead of time you will have drafts and revisions and edits and final copies. And so with 9 units, you're going to be generating a lot of paper, and it's really important to learn to keep it organized. You can use a pocket folder and label the pockets for revisions or drafts. You can use a 3-ring binder and perhaps get tabs that you can keep sections safe. Maybe you want to use manila folders. You can buy trays at an office supply store and keep your papers organized there. There's also different kinds of stacking devices and organizing devices where you can put your folders in. The bottom line is you're probably going to need a trip to the office supply store, and that is not a bad thing. While you're there, pick up some colored pencils or gel pens or markers. You'll need those for your revisions and edits, and also for some artwork. And by the way, getting organized is a life skill. So if you can learn it now, you've got a jump start on adulting. And finally, make writing an everyday hobby, an everyday practice. And if you can, set aside a time or a place that's comfortable, cozy, has all your equipment, that just you feel good about writing there. So let's start writing.